1. The right projects in your portfolio. A portfolio speaks volumes about a designer's skills. Include only those projects that let your talents shine. For instance, if your entire portfolio is in your Dribble profile, all this means is that you're capable of creating design concepts. That prompts several questions. How well thought out are these design concepts? Is this designer capable of creating UX? Has this designer participated in projects involving development? And so forth. As you can see, it's in your best interest to have 1 to 2 projects in your portfolio that show you can thrive at the UX and UI stages. Sure, they may be fake projects made during your student days, or for a startup that never got off the ground, but these are the types of skills that potential clients and employers are most interested in. 2. The right presentation for your design concept. Let's say you took on a UX/UI design project for an innovative landing page and agreed to a 2-day turnaround. You have your fixed layout 2 days later, but it doesn't exactly reflect the idea you had in mind at the outset. The client got what they wanted, but the presentation is lacking.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh, I can't.
It's possible that your design is good, but due to a misunderstanding, a second iteration is now necessary. This mess is avoided when you demonstrate the design concept along with interaction up front. Seriously groundbreaking ideas are impossible to capture in words, so it's always best to invest extra effort in showing the final design version. 3. Preparing layouts during development. We've already discussed how design and development should work side by side. Let's say that isn't possible and you're working directly with a client with no chief technical officer at the UX/UI stage. How do you best prepare your layouts for development? Number 1. Adaptive design. This is essential for all screen types and sizes. At the very least, for those screens that aren't just lists. Don't forget both large and small devices. Number 2. Make different screen states. Empty states, loaders, error screens, absence of various components, and others. Number 3. Make different element states. Filled in, not filled in, multiple lines, abbreviations, disabled status, image info, and so on. Number 4. Remember that Figma sources for groups should have sensible names and avoid creating groups that either have subgroups or a single layer. Number 5. Export all icons separately. Number 6. Prep all images for export without vector layers. Number 7. Limit the number of styles and fonts and export those separately too. 4. Visualizing the approved prototype. Is it possible to change the prototype when you've reached the visualization stage? If you're working for a big company where schedules are strict, probably not. In large organizations, a designer's creative spark fizzles out, and you're mostly tasked with adding pretty colors here and there. When it comes to imaginative action, designers in our agency enjoy the maximum freedom. After all, development is first and foremost about functionality and the logic of interaction between screens. When it comes to the structure of functional elements in a certain screen, the visualization stage leaves plenty of room for experimentation. That's where things get interesting. Layouts are unique and playful, not just some stock template. 5. Mobile app deliverables. Never ever sell an animation without a completed design. For most clients, it goes without saying that animations are included in all UX/UI projects. To manage expectations, it's critical to discuss deliverables during the pre-sale stage. Our studio always offers animations as an extra service based on the finished design. With a UI map on hand, we explain exactly which application cases need to be animated and offer quotes. By the way, design onboarding is also best sold separately. Onboarding, along with design and animation, can often take 3 to 4 weeks.